Now this house opposes the organized religion. First, from side government, what we need to understand here is what exactly do we mean by religion, what is organized religion, and what are the harms of standardization of religion, and thirdly, that what happens when there's no organized religion, right? So in first place, religion itself means that it is a spiritual path of life, right? It's a way of life, moreover, and even in it is a phase when even in the darkest phase of our life, we believe there's a ray of hope, right? So that is what religion means to us. Secondly, what do we mean by organized religion? Organized religion is a form of a religion wherein a structure, there's a rigid structure in the society across a religion, right? And there's institutionalization of this religion. Now what happens with the institutionalization of this religion is that there's standardization of certain values, certain religious practices and traditions beyond which a person cannot go, right? So that is the basic characterization of organized religion. Now to understand that what exactly is the problem with standardization, the first problem we identify over here is that it leads to politicization of religion. Now what happens with politicization is that in politicization, certain sects, for example, there's an organized religion, right? However, in that particular organized religion, few people get the power in their hand, right? Now these people, when they hold the power in their hand, that they have this power of subjective interpretation, and they mold the religion or the values of that particular religion in the manner they want to mobilize people. So the best example can be given in the form of status quo, right? In status quo, we observe that in certain organized religions, for example, let's say in Islam, or for that matter in Hinduism itself, we see there certain gurus, or for that matter the heads of those institutionalized religion, who go ahead and mobilize people and interpret the holy scriptures in their own manner. So best example can be given of Quran, wherein Ali once said that women need to cover themselves. Why? Because to protect themselves, because when at night they used to go out, there used to be no protection, and the women from lower strata used to be exploited. However, the women of richer strata used to cover themselves, and nobody could even dare to touch them. So that was the reason he gave for protection of the women. However, in status quo, how that has been interpreted? It has been interpreted in the form that these women, or for that matter, it's not for the protection, but to stop the women from growing in the society, right? So that is something which has been interpreted in a wrong manner, and that is what we try to make you understand with the subjective interpretation. Further, in politicization, the second problem we identify is the vote bank politics, which leads to divisive lines of the communalization, right? What happens is that the politicians often use these organized religions as a garb in order to gain their votes, because they have a large mass to go ahead and then gain those votes from them. They use the divisive politics, and this divisive politics certainly leads to more and more communal violence in the country, right? So that is something which is a very problematic thing we find. Now second thing what we need to understand is that how religion plays an important role at this point in time. Now religion, when we say it's a spiritual way we follow life, at this point in time we believe that every individual has the freedom to go ahead and choose whatever practice or belief he wants to follow from any sort of a religion. So for that matter, if I am a Hindu person, I should not be bounded by only the practices of Hinduism. I can go ahead and follow the practices of Islam which I find suitable to me, right? For example, many Hindu leaders, they go ahead and say that no, beef eating is a problem. Beef eating is not something which the religion allows. No, this is a problem that is being created by organized religion, right? However, normal religion does not go ahead and tell you that you cannot eat beef, right? It is according to the person's ability, it is according to the person's own suitability that a person follows certain practices, which organized religion prohibits a person from following, and that is a major problem. Now third set of problem we find over here is the sociological impact, or for that matter the psychological impact. Now there are two problems here. The first problem arises when the society ostracizes the person who goes beyond that organized religion, and the second problem is the sense of fear that arises in the mindset of that person who tries to go ahead and follow certain values of some other religion which he finds to be suitable to himself. Now in first case of social ostracization, because there are certain norms set by those men in power who control that certain form of organized religion, what happens is that the man who goes ahead and crosses that foundation that this organized religion has created, the community goes ahead and punishes that person, right? No, this is not something which we expect out of religion, because religion, again, as we characterize, is a way of life, and a person is free to do what he wants to, right? And the other factor which comes over here is the sense of fear that a person develops, because if I'll go ahead and follow certain practice which I cannot, then certainly maybe I can be killed, or maybe I can be ostracized, or maybe my wealth or anything can be taken away. Why? Because of the religious norms that particular organized religion follows, right? Now these points will further also be elaborated by my DPM or by my deputy, right? Now here one thing we need to understand, that what is the benefit of not having the organized religion. By not having organized religion, a person cannot be bounded to have a particular allegiance, right? Now what happens in case of allegiance is, if I belong to one particular community and that particular and I face some sort of problem, that religious community will protect me, or for that matter I can only help the members of that particular religious community because I have their backing, right? However, if for that matter, if something wrong is happening with a person of some other community, and the clash is between my community and that particular community, I cannot go ahead and go beyond my community, or for that matter my organized religion, and fight for him, right? That is the social backlash we face in status quo, and that is something which prohibits humanity to prevail over the social evils created by these organized religion, which is one of the major problems. And by not having organized religion, this problem will, for that matter, reduce to the fact that no harms in our side are there, right? So what we need to understand is that in our paradigm, humanity prevails. However, in their paradigm, there's no sense of humanity, because one has to be in the foundations of their particular religions and cannot go beyond. So at this point in time, what we gave you as is the characterization of organized religion. Secondly, we told you that what exactly is the problem with standardization of religion, or for that matter the organization of a particular religion, and we gave you 3 points, that is the politicization of religion, second is the sociological and psychological impacts, and third is the rigid, or for that matter the standardized set of values, norms, practices and traditions beyond which a person cannot go. And lastly, we told you exactly about what are the benefits on our side of the house. The benefits on our side of the house is that firstly, the humanity can prevail. Secondly, there can be a holistic development of a person in terms of religion. That is, a person has whole and soul holistic right to go ahead and follow any part of any religion he wishes to, and it suits to him. He does not have to fall into any foundation of any sort of person. Thank you. Proud to propose.